Hey, hey, hey. What's up, fam? It's Tuesdays with Tawana. It is Tuesday. Yes, I'm so grateful. Always so excited to build community one episode at a time. Grateful to be here. Grateful to see your beautiful names pop up as you log on. Hey, Mother Carolyn. Hey, Tammy. My mama and my niece is on. Listen, if I can't rely on anybody, I will never be on here alone because of these two people right here. I'm so grateful, so grateful. Yeah, so come on in. Let's chop it up a bit for about 30 minutes. We'll rock for a minute. I've been struggling all day today. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle. It's been a struggle. So I want to hey Tony, thank you for joining. Good to see you. I want to open up this moment, if you would just bear with me for a moment. For as you see, I didn't really have a focus for today. I really just wanted to chop it up a bit, and then with everything that's going on in our world, in this nation, yeah, I'm just really struggling. So y'all pray for me and pray with me, and let's get through this together. Cause I have some questions for y'all. I need some help with some stuff. So I have some questions for y'all. So I want to open with this. In the Declaration of Independence, there is a section that is referring to the King of Great Britain. And the Declaration of Independence says, he, the King of Great Britain, has excited domestic insurrections among us and has endeavored to bring on the inhabitant of our frontiers, who are the merciless Indian savages, whose known rule of warfare is an undistinguished destruction of all ages, sexes, and conditions. This is in our Declaration of Independence. Hey, Cordio, good to see you. Yes, Reverend Doctor is in the building. So, in this Declaration of Independence, earlier on in the Declaration of Independence, it talks about life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and it's available to all. And then we find this here talking about domestic insurrections, which we are all too familiar with in 2021 with the domestic insurgents upon the Capitol on January 6th. And we're still dealing with that on November 23rd, where people here and there are being, sentenced, and there are still so many to go because there were hundreds of people out there storming the Capitol. Hey, brother, good to see you, Larry. And then we hear of this term, merciless Indian savages. And I remember traveling out to Lamar, Colorado. We were doing some racial justice work out there. There was a woman who heard about Soul to Soul Sisters and wanted us to come out there to do a little something with the community. A community that had a library and a police station in the same building. Just think about that for a minute. Whose high school was Lamar High School, home of the savages, with the inappropriate headdress, beautiful, sacred Indian headdress, with the face of a person of Indian descent as their logo mascot. And here we are in 2021. And Kyle Rittenhauer is found not guilty on all counts. I'm struggling today because America has not been kind to us. America has not been kind to us from the moment we stepped on these shores, unwillingly. America has not been too kind to us throughout the years. Down throughout the years, God may have been good to me, but America has not. For I am a Black woman of African descent who I'm sure has had family members who had to endure the most heinous injustices as a person of African descent and Indian descent. And here we are in 2021. And I just wanted to have a good time today. I really did. I really just wanted to have a good time today because I'm going to get to spend some time with some family. And then I realized, unfortunately, that this time of year is not good for many. It's not a good time for many. It's quite triggering for some, if we just were honest about it. Thanksgiving was probably one of the most heinous times in history, one of many. But we're not going to go through Oppression Olympics, or as Dr. Melva Sampson mentioned on Pink Robe Chronicles the other day, this trauma Olympics, right? It's all bad. It's all bad. And yet we're coming together to celebrate a day that massacred many. And I was listening to an episode of the Black Cowboys, and Black people were used, convinced, brainwashed, convinced that these Indians were savages. And they too would ride on horses to fight against the Indians. So we were pitted against each other. So here we are. Hey, Mama Lovey. So here we are, where we have an opportunity to make a change. We have an opportunity not only to make a change, but we have an opportunity to come together in community and make these changes. We have an opportunity. We've already changed Columbus Day, which was a farce from day one, lies that they taught us. We have an opportunity to change this day. I love giving thanks. I give thanks every day. I'm grateful every day. Every day, the first thing I say when I open my eyes is thank you, God. I'm grateful. And then I'll start speaking the names of people that I'm grateful for. And then I start sending them love and light and loving energy. I do a breathing exercise of meditation where I breathe in the ills and then I breathe out love and light to that ill. So if someone is going through some health challenges or personal challenges, financial challenges, or something that I scrolled by on Facebook and someone lost another loved one to COVID, I breathe in that grief and that loss and that hurt and that pain, and then I breathe out, breathing out love and light to them. We have an opportunity to come together and make a change, which is essentially why I do what I do. Whether it's one person, 20 people, 400 people, thousands of people, millions of people, it takes one person to plant a seed of influence, a seed of being a thought provoker, right? Shaking things, an agitator, shaking things up, right? So that we can get out of this colonized mindset and shake things up and loose the shackles and loose the layers of trauma and heal from that. Not ignoring or dismissing what we are feeling, because we have done that long enough. So we should be able to feel and feel unapologetically and be who we be. But yet we are called to be in community because other people aren't going to do it for us. We are the change we want to see. We are the ones we are waiting for. We are the ones that can come forward and make these changes happen because we have the financial power, we have the spiritual prowess, we are divine co-creators. We have all of that. Tamika says, As a woman in my 40s, I am part of the first generation of Black Americans in the history of the United States to be born in a society in which Black people had full rights of citizenship, in the 1619 Project by Nicole Hannah Jones. Thank you, Tammy, for that quote. As a woman in my 40s, me, my 50s, I'm a part of the first generation of Black Americans in the history of the United States to be born into a society in which Black people had full rights of citizenship. My God, today. My God, today. We have an opportunity. You know, a crisis. I talked about this before. I heard this for the first time when at ITC, the Interdenominational Theological Center, where I got my Master's of Divinity. Reverend Dr. Carolyn McCrary reminded us that a crisis is a dangerous opportunity. So we have a dangerous opportunity to make a change. And it's not going to change on its own. It's not going to change waiting for somebody else to come by and change it for us. It's not going to change just by willing it to change, right? We can manifest some stuff, but it takes some work. It takes some feet to that power, right? It takes some hands getting dirty, right? Maybe we should all read the 1619 Project together, Tamika. I just thought about that as soon as Courtney said her comment. We might want to read that together so we can have some conversation around it. Yeah, let's think about that and meditate on that. So we have an opportunity because we're coming up on a day, a holiday that we often celebrate. And I've celebrated it all my life. It wasn't just a day off. My family got together and we had the typical, Thanksgiving meal, and we called it Thanksgiving, and now I don't. People say it to me and I kind of cringe a little bit, but I shake it off and say bless you, or enjoy your time, or enjoy your day, or whatever, because it's not my day. On my day, my people were killing the Indians too, and while we were being killed. Both and. That wasn't a good both and. So now I look at it a little differently. I experience this moment a little differently. I think about, and Tamika, type in, if you can, type in what you posted. You posted something powerful today on Facebook. It was a picture, but it had a quote on it about your feelings and putting something aside. If you could, I don't see it and I don't remember what it was, but I want to mention it today. But I think about now, I think about how this day is coming up and how my First Nation Indigenous people must feel. Yeah. So it's been long overdue to make a change. It's been long overdue. I don't knock you if you still say Happy Thanksgiving. How can I? If that's all you know, then it's up to me just to posit a different way of looking at things, or another way to see things, or another way to experience this moment, right? Just like this westernized Christianity celebrates Christmas in a much different way than our ancestors did, right? And we're born in this double consciousness, right? Trying to live in both worlds, in this white Western colonized world, and our roots that we never really had an opportunity to celebrate and to embrace and to hold on to and to live out those traditions. And now we're doing a much better job at it. Don't get me wrong. We're doing a much better job with honoring African traditional religions and honoring Ubuntu. I am because you are, therefore I am. And honoring the divinity in us, and looking at who God is in our lives differently. How God is not some, magician in the sky. God is within us. God is around us. God is through us. How we don't have to suffer. This whole thing about suffering for the sake of salvation. Here's the quote. Can you put aside what you think and feel long enough to understand what the other person is thinking and feeling? Not to ignore your feelings, because that we've done enough of that as well. Acknowledge your feelings, acknowledge where you are, acknowledge what you are going through. And then for a moment, it's called empathy, if you really think about it. And Tanisha, we were just talking about this. It's called empathy. If you can just put aside what you think just for a moment, long enough to understand what the other person is thinking and feeling. Thank you so much, Tamika, for reposting that. Just for a moment. Think for a moment about the person that drove into the parade and it actually ended up being a domestic violence situation. Just for a moment. Think about what victims of domestic violence are going through at this time during the holidays. Think about the trauma that's happening. The other day, I was thinking about, I was looking at the Fenty website because I wanted the onesie, and they had me go through this questionnaire. And the first question was, what bra size are you looking for? And I shut the page down. That was a trigger for me. I shut the shit down. Well, what happens if you don't have any breasts, like me? So then I went back and I opened it, and then it said a choice. I'm not looking for bras at this time. And then it listed all these different sizes. That still wasn't enough for me. And something like that minute, if you will, triggered me. So imagine how this, set aside one moment, how this holiday can be triggering for others. And it's not a happy Thanksgiving for everybody. It's not. Tamika also posted earlier, love, L-U-V, which means listen, understand, and validate. Whether I agree with you or not, I can validate who you are as a human being. I can validate your humanity. I can validate that you have the capacity to feel and the propensity to feel. I can validate that. I don't necessarily have to agree with you, but I listen and then I try to understand. I meet you where you are so I can understand how you are coming to this thought or this mindset or this process or this decision making. Because if that's all you know, that's all you're going to do. If all you know is Thanksgiving and you don't know the true history and don't know anything else about it, then yes, you are going to happily celebrate Thanksgiving. But if I can just offer you a moment to think about what this means to somebody else, our beloveds who were massacred like us, who were raped like us, who were dismembered like us, who were used and abused like us, who were murdered like us unjustly to this day. Just for a moment. Tanisha said, you just made me feel better about... You just made me feel better about Reggie not being home for Thanksgiving. We're going to send love and light to Tanisha and her family, for her husband is back in the hospital. And we're sending just love and light and prayers of healing. Rev Mike is in the building. Yes, empathy and also humility. My God. Yes, humility. Our egos get us in trouble. Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. They get us in trouble. Reverend Quante is in the building. Hey, Pam, I saw your comment earlier. Yes, thank you. So true. Our families are suffering in silence. Oh, my sister Tina Rose is in the building. Validate that one is having a genuine human experience. Dave Chappelle said it best when he talked about the transgender woman. I'm just having a basic human experience. Tina, good looking out, yo. Thank you. Mama Lovey, I just want November and December to be over. We have lost loved ones. We have been through hell and back. And yet we just want to commodify and commercialize and just skip through the tulips like nothing is wrong, and how people were murdered unjustly and people are walking and getting away with it. And my brother Larry says, it's hard to be black. I love our culture, our beauty, and all the amazing things that we have and continue to achieve that punctuate our history. However, to be black is to continually encounter white supremacy and its entanglement with structures like gender, sexuality, ability, and more. Being black means mourning our community's high mortality rates. It means watching our community being slaughtered by law enforcement, regardless of what we do or don't. With grief lining our everyday experiences, black people need days like Thanksgiving to give thanks. We should give thanks every day. We should now focus on who we are as a black people and define us as we are, and don't allow other people to define us, and make the change so that these systems don't continue to do the things that Larry just pointed out to us. We need family time because nobody else is giving it to us, so we need to take it. They want us to work twice as hard, spend less time with family, live in areas that don't have good schools, food deserts, lack of health care, all of these other things we got to contend with. And damn it, can I just have a day of joy? But I can have that on a day that I choose and I define, not based on the savage behavior of what Thanksgiving means. Yes, let's keep sending love and light to Tanisha, Reggie, family. Jan is sending love and light to all right back at you. My sister Shelly is on, my family is representing today. Love is essential when we are living in a climate of isolation and anger. Thank you for facilitating empathy and reconciliation. Yes, we are living in isolation and anger. We have been in this quarantine for so long. People don't even know how to act coming out. People are so angry. People are driving angry. People are walking down the street angry. People are angry in restaurants, throwing hot soup in people's faces. What the hell is going on? It's too much. Jan said, with everything going on in our community, my 7-year-old nephew expresses his anger by saying he wishes he was not brown. My heart is aching for us and our youth. Thank you, Jan. That's true, real talk. Going back to what my brother Larry said. It's not easy being black in America. Spelled with 3 Ks. It's not easy. It's not easy. So let's talk about self-care. Because, I can't open all this up and then let y'all go feeling guilty about eating some ham on Thursday. I don't want that to happen. Enjoy your families, please. Please. Enjoy your families. If you get extended time off, yes, enjoy your families. Please. Add some joy in your life, some beautiful black joy, some big, bold, beautiful, magical, mystical joy in your life. So as we talk about self-care, what do you do for rest and respite? Respite is when you rest and restore that which you have exhausted. What do you do for rest? What does rest really mean? And I'm serious too. Y'all popping on the comments today, so keep it going. Don't stop. The other day I was sitting here, and many of you know I've completed my PhD, and so I had very minor edits. So now it's in the hands of the editor. And so I'm like, okay, so what do I do now? What do I do? I've been writing and researching feverishly, and now what do I do? And many people said rest, Tawana. Yeah, and I met Bishop Trisha Hersey, who's the nap minister, the bishop of the nap ministry, and she tells people take a nap. I'm not a good napper. My naps end up being like 3 4 hours or something. Hey, but I do it. I take my naps when I can. Um, but what is rest for you? Um, hey, Smoky girl, good to see you, beautiful. Much love to you and the fam, Pastor George. Sending love to you and the fam. Cordio said, honestly, not doing enough, so looking for ideas. Yeah. So the Nap Ministry, if you go onto Instagram and you follow, I think it's under the Nap Ministry. If not, I'll make sure I share it. She may even have a website as well. But she came to do a workshop for Soul to Soul Sisters, and she considers herself a womanist. A womanist is one in all of their leadership and engagement and spiritual prowess. They center Black women and Black women's experiences. So whether you're teaching or preaching or counseling or working in corporate world or nonprofit or whatever it is, you are always centering Black women and honoring Black women's spaces and agency and capacity, honoring their rest, honoring their families, honoring their lineage, honoring their future. So that's what she does. And she is a huge, 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 huge supporter of rest, because she is a firm believer that if you do not rest, that whole grind culture, she ain't having it. You could grind all you want as long as you get some rest in there. You can secure the bag all you want as long as you get some rest in there. You can work 3 4 jobs because you're trying to do it. Yeah, get some rest. Take care of you, because there's only one you and there's only one life to live. So let's see. I asked a question and I asked for some answers. So let's look and see what folks are saying. Shelly says we are cultivated to be human doings instead of human beings. Can we just be? Listen to my sister Shelly. She's always been smart, always, and I love it. I love her. She's such an inspiration. Human doings instead of human beings. Can we just be? Just be. Jan says, self-care for me takes so many forms. Walking outdoors feeds my soul, rest, meditate, yoga, and connect with family, friends, and my sisters, my community. Absolutely, Jan. All of that and then some. Even in the midst of COVID, being creative. I mean, we're co-creators and we're creative. So finding different ways. You may not be able to, go and get together with all the girls, but you can get together with 2 or 3 girls or homeboys or whatever, your right hand man, whatever, and go for a walk. Meditate, do a Zoom meditation, yoga, but we have to make time for it. See, we make time for what we want to make time for, right? Yeah. So that was Jen. Let's see. Tamika says, rest to me is when I have the opportunity to think of myself, not selfishly, but take the time to fill my cup. Oh, yeah. And it's okay to be selfish as long as it's not consistent. Sometimes I have this diagnosis. I tell y'all often, this taught me a lot, to pay attention to my body and to take care of myself first. Because if I don't take care of me, I am no good to anyone else. My dear, dear friend, Reverend Tammy Denise, president of Carrie's Touch, she says, we work from the overflow. From the saucer, those coffee drinkers. You pour the coffee, you kind of like that coffee to drip over into the saucer. That's the overflow. My beautiful friend Michael posted the link for the Nap Ministry for Instagram. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Thank you. So y'all take a look at that. Follow her. She's really good. And it's not unrealistic. Like, she gives you some practical things that you can do, because we want practical things. Like, we, unfortunately, we don't have the opportunity to, stay home and, we get up in the morning, we exercise. And then we have this wonderful, healthy breakfast. And then we go to yoga with our, friends. And then, pick up the kids from school and have dinner. And, days are just so nice. And we're skipping through the tulips. Now I got to worry about if I'm going to live when I come back from being outside with walking while black, talking while black, driving while black, going to the supermarket while black, jogging while black. I got to worry about all these things. So it's hard. So she gives you some practical things for you to rest. Mother Carolyn said, I had to learn how to be and not do. Yes, like Shelly said, human beings. We're not human doings, right? Pam continues to say, self-care for me is bubble baths with a drink. Long walks alone, smooth music at night to relax. Can I just talk about, if y'all don't listen to Adele and Mickey Guyton, that's my shameless plug. She also says, pedicures and making my kids happy fulfill my desires. I'm with you on that, Pam. I am with you on that. Yes. Rest, sister. Rest. Breathe. Breathing. Deep breaths. Thinking of restoration. Thinking of what brings you joy. Thinking of the beauty that's around you. Even if you just watch the sunrise or sunset. If you watch each day how the colors are changing on the tree, the leaves on the tree. Darlene says, I'm getting so much rest these days. COVID is rising again in Colorado. They are mandating face masks inside of businesses. Yeah. Oh, Tina, this is it. We closing on this right here. Learn to say no and no thank you. No thank you. No and no thank you. How about that? Yeah, we got some good feedback here about rest. I'm not accustomed to rest because I just was always doing. And this diagnosis taught me how to rest. And then I got on my grind to finish my PhD. And now I got to get back to that balance. Now, not balance. We don't do balance. We do equilibrium. Like, balance is, yeah, it's not real. It's not real. LJ said, hey, LJ. Rest for me is giving myself permission to say no to things and not feel guilty. Mother Carolyn said, no is a full sentence. Learn to use it. Ashe, ashe, and amen. Yes, rest is the best medicine for everyone. God made the seventh day for resting. Even God knows we need to rest. Jan said, always doing something for others or always on the go. So I have to force myself to rest. Yeah. Come on, y'all. Listen, I know we overtime, but y'all popping in these comments, and it's good for me. While y'all still typing about rest and what rest looks like, and as we enter into this, what this nation calls the holiday season with a whole bunch of capitalism going on, we're going to need to rest. We're going to need to disconnect. We're going to need to breathe. We're going to need to go back to old-fashioned ways of spending time with family, actually spending time with family, and not everyone on their phones, or, maybe watch a movie together at home if you can. Whatever. Enjoy life, and breathe. And in those moments of despair, release, so that you can be restored, and goodness and peace and hope and joy can be replenished. Thank you, Mother Carolyn. I was just going to do closing, talking about where all my gear is coming from. Yes, and I'm going to post it in the comments as well. So my earrings are from Hoop Mob, hoopmob.com. My shirt is from Tizzy Tees, tizzytees.com. I'm going to put it in the comments. God says I am, and then it has all these beautiful affirmations and scripture for those who read traditional Christian scriptures. So God says that I am. So this is how my mood today. Yeah, my mood today. And I also want to mention this necklace here is from Ecuador. When my son Eric went to Ecuador, he purchased this for me, and it's similar to the sign of a cross, but I'll save the explanation for next episode, and I'll have a picture of it so that everyone can see it. Oh, and how can I forget? My lip gloss is from Tony Michelle Moore. Tony Michelle with one L, and I'll put that in the comments right now as well so that I don't forget to do that. So listen, any more comments about rest? I want us to be committed when we get off this call, and you don't have to publicly make the, commitment, but please be committed to get some rest, self-care, taking care of self. It doesn't have to be something that is unattainable or unreachable or costs money. Not everybody has the money to go get weekly massages or pedicures and manicures or get their hair did, and but sometimes that self-care just includes sitting on the couch and binge watching TV, or even listening to Adele and Cynthia Erivo and Mickey Guyton. Those three are on heavy rotation on my Apple Music for sure. I don't know why I cannot get this onto the comments, but I will get it there for y'all. I promise. I will get it there. So listen, yes, please go on to Tizzy Tees. It's a wide variety of shirts. The shirts that I have that were gifted to me by the owner and proprietor and curator, Taekwon, are very inspirational. One shirt that I had on said "Stronger Than Cancer" last week. This one says "God Says That I Am." And next Tuesday I'll have on another shirt because he hooked me up. And I'm so grateful for that. I think my sister is doing pink. Sis Tina, if you can put your link in the comments as well. Darlene said I was listening to the first Prince album and man, I rested. Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, we are well over time, but I want to thank you for engaging in the concept of rest, engaging in pausing for a moment for self-care, pausing for a moment to care for others, pausing for a moment to really think about the change that we are going to be, pausing for a moment to think about how we are the ones that we are waiting for, because no one else is going to do it. Pausing for a moment to be with me on Tuesdays with Tawana. This, of course, the rebroadcast will be on my page, but it will also be on various podcast platforms, Apple and Spotify. It'll be uploaded to YouTube. So listen, I do this because you are. You give me hope. You have rocked with me throughout my diagnosis, through my PhD, and through everything else in between. I still got this boot on my foot for my fractured foot. So listen, y'all keep rolling with me because there's healing in community, there's love in community, there's joy in community, there's change in community, there's revolution in community, there is change in community, there is beauty in community, there is all these things in community, not individually. The individual is a part of the collective, which is why the Ubuntu proverb says, I am because you are, therefore I am. Because it's both and. It works together. I am because of you, And I am so, so grateful. Shelley said, thank you for your inspiration and advancing the spirit of agency, vulnerability, and restoration. On that note, I love y'all to the moon and beyond. And I hope to see all of you next week. Later.